As far back as I can remember, I dreamt of a normal life. A life filled with normal things. A life where monsters don't live in closets or under the bed. A life where ghosts aren't real. I just wanted to be normal. But that didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Since my early 20s, I have experienced profound paranormal events that would change my life. Extreme poltergeist activity, living amongst those that have departed this earth in ways unimaginable. It has affected my loved ones and children with no end in sight. I could hear things, see things, and feel things not of this world. I asked myself if this was a gift or a curse. With the help of my mother and close friends, I emerged a paranormal investigator. Since 2013, I have been on a relentless journey to learn about the paranormal. This is my time to share my journey with you. Welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. Hello and welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. I'm your friendly neighborhood ghost hunter, Justin Brown, and we are presenting episode 77. And we will be discussing investing in research versus what we spend our money on primarily, specifically in the paranormal field. Thank you for joining us, everybody. I see everybody trickling in, all the usuals, all the Patreon supporters coming in on YouTube, on Facebook, RU Media. Very happy to see you guys in here tonight. We are going to do our very best to have a fun and thought-provoking discussion on the topic. It can branch off into other things. That's okay if that happens. If you have questions regarding the paranormal or whatever, keep it classy, keep it respectful. Feel free to share the live stream. Feel free to chat, comment, engage, and we'll all be one big happy family. Jessica is on holiday, so we just have Missy tonight helping out with the Facebook chat. I will be in the YouTube chat trying to keep up with what you guys are saying and responding to your questions if you have any. But I think that I could handle the YouTube chat tonight. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how important Jessica is. She may even be watching. She could be cheating. She may not even feel like she can go a Tuesday without us. What do you think, Missy? Do you think she can go a Tuesday without us?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Pull your mic up to your face. Don't be bashful. Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
You look like a real pro. Okay. So here in about 10-15 minutes, if you want us to shout you out, we will. Just say hi. Just say something down in the chat. We'll shout you out. And we'll get this party started. And sometimes I just have a brainstorm moment. I think of things all the time to talk about on the show. And I try to go outside the box, what you normally would see on a show, what I would normally see on a show. A lot of times it gets very repetitive. Sometimes it's hard to come up with topics to talk about, but I feel like I generate my own topics as I go along because the more and more I specifically talk about the things that interest me, the things I question, my rants, things that I, have either trouble dealing with or I just feel like it's healthy for me to air out on this show, on this platform. I feel like multiple branches, branch out. No pun intended there. So here's the thing. We want paranormal research to grow. We want answers. Okay? Now, the people who have the intelligence and a higher probability of finding out certain things, okay, those people aren't getting funded as much as they need to. Parapsychology, I guarantee you, could use millions of dollars for research. They just don't have it. They can't get it. what does all the money in the economy go towards? If you think about it, when you're thinking about the paranormal field, that's one thing. But when you're thinking about, let's just say America, for example, a lot of our culture depends on, and our money funnels into the entertainment industry. There's so much drive to become famous, to become well known, to be noticed, to feel a part of something important, something larger, than what a normal citizen would feel. America's, all about achieving that dream status, right? Becoming rich, becoming wealthy, all those types of things. So that kind of leads you down a path of wanting to get into either some type of entertainment business or some type of high social status. Okay. And social media has kind of put people in the seat of being noticed a lot more and maybe potentially becoming successful just by putting themselves out there and, getting lucky or being successful because you're good. But with that being said, we're funding a lot of research into Hollywood, into the entertainment business, into the paranormal shows. Now, when it comes to the paranormal, we spend more money on our TV bills, our internet bills, watching all these paranormal shows, but they're not doing any real research. No real research is coming out of it. These, Ghost Adventures is probably making the most money. I'm going to assume they are. They've been around for the longest seasons without any hiatuses, but they're still presenting dust as evidence. They're still botching history. They're still sucking bad. Okay. Ghost Hunters is back. It's refreshing to see them back, but let's just face it, they won't be as successful because they couldn't beat out the ratings that Ghost Adventures was bringing. Why is that? Well, it's boring to watch. Ghost Adventures is exciting. When we turn on the TV, we want to be taken away from reality for a little bit. We want to be amused, entertained. We tend to allow people like Zach Bagans to take us by the hand out of reality, to give us a break from the normal everyday grind. No one in the paranormal field, well, let me rephrase. A lot of people in the paranormal field do not want to hear some chubby guy with tattoos telling them that they're doing everything wrong. Okay? No offense to you guys, but let's just face them, the entertainment that whisked them away to Fantasyland. Okay? That's just part of our culture. So a lot of our money gets funneled into that. We invest in our entertainment. We invest in things that, makes us happy, to, the things that makes us more comfortable in life. And that revolves around the entertainment. So you're not seeing, don't expect, my one of my first takeaways and my talking points is, don't expect to see advances in paranormal research at all if you're not investing in it. Okay. And I'm not talking about going to ghoststop.com and buying a spirit box and a K2 meter. That is not an investment in the research in the long run. Okay. It was in the beginning. Okay. Let's just take my specific case, for example. I did research spirit boxes. I did research, EMF fields, trying to find anomalies in that area with K2 meters. I found out and learned a lot about radios, how they work, how pareidolia works, how human perception works, how that whole scene goes. Then I found out about EMF, K2 meters, how effective that is in doing proper paranormal research. What comes out of that? Okay, not a lot, not a whole lot of useful anything comes out of those two devices. Okay, yet here we are still chasing that tail of trying to emulate what we see on TV, trying to produce these positives, these hits that people tend to keep, expecting or craving, or just flat out believing that, hey, that's what the paranormal is, that's what it produces, that's what we think it is. We think it's a spike on an EMF meter, we think it's a voice on a ghost box, we think it's a voice on a recording with a recorder. So what I want to lead into now is, how could I personally and others like yourselves do better in investing in paranormal research? Well, I look towards the people that are really, really serious about it. One community is parapsychology. Others communities are field researchers, people I feel like are myself. You may be somebody that is legitimately trying to go out there and find answers. You really don't want to keep doing what, is constantly the same thing, expecting different results all the time. Sometimes we try to think outside the box. It doesn't mean you stick another guitar pedal in your spirit box. Doesn't mean if you run this effect through your spirit box, you're advancing the field. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is objectifying anomalies and understanding how human perception and psychology affect the perception and the results, the interpretation of the results. How can we more objectify how we not only validate anomalies, but identify what those anomalies are? Are they objectively things that we can define as ghosts, or are they just unexplained things that ghost gets pushed onto it like as a placeholder until we actually figure out what it is by measurement, replication, and data that will increase the probability of something being true, which is what science does, and it's what critical thinkers do. Nothing is really proven, but you can really advance the probability of something being true to the point where it's widely accepted by the community. If I told you that the moon is real and it's up in the sky, very few people would debate that because everyone sees it there. They can look through a telescope. They can watch meteors fly into it and crash into it. Hey, it's there. But if I told you that ghosts are real, it's a little bit less than half of people saying that they're real. And most of those people that believe in the possibility of ghosts are still on the fence in some areas, especially if someone came up to them and said that they had an experience. A lot of those people would be skeptical. They would want to perceive it themselves. They would not just take it, take their word for it. So the probabilities of these things existing, EVP, full-bodied apparitions, PK, all that stuff is not very probable because of the lack of physical evidence. There are some pieces of evidence that science will be like, okay, that's this, but what we're seeing on TV, what we're seeing in a lot of the ghost group and the hobby groups are just not properly invested. They're not properly trained. And I want to talk about that with you guys. What are we doing to invest in paranormal research? If we are not qualified ourselves, let's just say Justin is not qualified to give him $10,000, $100,000. Okay, I would not debate that. So let's just say, take my following. Okay, if you add my YouTube subscribers with my Facebook following, all the likes and followers I had, and if they all donated $1, it would be over 10 grand. Okay, if everybody just said, hey, I think Justin could find something out, whether this is going to be legitimate or not, I think he has a chance of doing it. Let's all give him $1 each and see if he can come up with something in X amount of time and expect results. And I would hold myself to providing some type of actual research for you guys to peer review. Something. Whether if I could validate how frequent EVP is, how legitimate it is as paranormal evidence, so on and so forth, testing certain hypotheses, what have you. Theoretically, you would expect to see something out of something if you believed in someone's actual research. So I am kind of saying, put your money where your mouth is if you believe in certain groups. But let's face the facts. That's not generally how reality works, right? We're very hesitant in giving people money because we don't trust them as much as we say we do. And I'm just as guilty as that, okay? Anybody on social media can stand up on their soapbox like I do and shout from it and say, hey, I'm right, you're wrong. I believe this, you believe that. Give me your money, I'll prove you wrong or prove me wrong. It just, that's not how things happen. That's not how we allocate our actual money per se. Now, I do get financial support. those that do give financial support, I would hope they would tell me if I was not, meeting their expectation and what they are supporting. Okay, so I'm constantly trying to push that envelope. I'm constantly trying to overachieve because I am getting financial support. So that does put pressure on me, and I hope it would put pressure on anybody that was getting financial support for whatever they do. But I want to hear what you guys think. We're going to do some shout outs real quick. I'll go first, Missy. We have Scotty Fox. Thank you for joining us again. Exposing Reality was here. Gary Goodwin on YouTube. Sam Thomas is on YouTube. We have Ron A. Thank you for joining us. And I believe that's all who's commented that I see going through. We have Spirit Stalker Afterlife that just chimed in, and Gary Goodwin. Thank you very much for joining us. I will read through those questions in a second or these comments rather, after we shout out everybody on Facebook and we make sure Missy's caught up with that, and then we'll move on.
Okay. I have Josh Bender. I have Derek Schreiner. I have Emily. I don't remember what her last name was. I have Janet. I have Troy. I have Becky. I have Marilyn, Jenny, Gina, Heather, and Sandy. And on RU, I have Ernie, Julie, Adrian, and Eddie Pence.
Nice.
No questions, no comments.
No questions. All right, everyone's saying hi to each other. Yeah, Scotty says Logan Paul is famous in human village idiot demon in my humble opinion. And we will talk about why people like that are popular and what our younger culture is, how that reflects some of our younger culture. I would definitely be curious to hear what your guys' opinions are. Sam said, I don't believe I've ever seen anyone show a spirit. Yeah, it's just too subjective and debatable at this point. Okay, if you're on YouTube and you have a question you really want me to answer on the show, put it in a cap so I can really make it easy on me. Gary says, buy all the equipment you want, it's okay, but if you really are able to talk to spirits, you will know. I think that's true to a point.
So I just noticed this. Your YouTube isn't coming up on the screen.
I noticed
Facebook.
That. I noticed that too. Hey, email restream. I knew that we're probably going to have trouble tonight. I just had a feeling, but I'm reading your comments.
Ken Taylor just popped on.
All right. Yeah, I think we personally can know things and they're inner truths to us, but I constantly want to seek out the objective truths. I want other people to know that I'm doing what I'm saying I'm doing, or like if I have a claim, I want them to say, well, despite whether I believe this guy or not, what he's saying I believe is true based on this. Okay? And that's what science does. Science decreases or increases the probability of something being believable or true, and they set up experiments that constantly will predict the truth of these things and validate the truth of these things. And as long as there's nothing opposing those or refuting those facts or things about what's predicted and what's presented as reality, truths, objective truths, then that's the best we can do, right? I'm now mentoring a young teen in England to try and steer them in the right direction safely. That should be very interesting. Good luck with that. What's up, Nocturnal? I see you. Someone had mentioned you. I don't know if you're actually here. Yeah. So that would be Caesar, I believe. So yeah, I think I got everything caught up on YouTube.
I don't know if I shouted him out or not. His name is Shane Hanna. He said, just recently found your soapbox videos and love them. Keep up the good work.
Awesome, man. I'm glad that you like them. I've done quite a few of them. I enjoy doing them. And And I think, as long as I be honest and I keep it real and I just keep it very engaging. And I got to be careful too, because I have to consider what I say and how it can affect people. Just because I believe something and you may not believe in it does not mean that I think I'm right, you're wrong, and I'm above you. Okay. I want the overall feeling that people have about me in general is that I'm not above them because I think differently than you. The whole takeaway from this show is I want to find those differences. Importantly, and above all, I want to find those differences and find common ground despite those differences, and respecting people that have differences and finding out why they have differences and respecting them despite the differences. I think that's the glue of the paranormal community that needs to be replicated. So hopefully that translates in these videos. Sometimes it won't, because we're all just human and we're not machines. Becky did have a comment that went away for a second. I don't know if it was in a form of a question or an interesting take. It left my screen. I don't know.
She said, I would like to know how that new show got picked up. They are complete POSs. They don't even actually investigate. She's talking about Destination Fear with Dakota Layton.
You know what? It's from what I've seen one episode, okay, and that was the Brushy Mountain episode. I think that was their first one. They are just showing you their own pursuit of going to these places and seeing what they experience. They use the same gadgets that like Ghost Adventures and a lot of other shows use. And that's because the demand of seeing that stuff in there, maybe mixed with their own interest in the devices and methods. So hopefully, people that are tired of seeing that will just not watch it. And if you don't want to see those shows, just don't watch it. But you can't stop people from liking those shows. Becky, to answer your question is, people are still demanding these shows, and that's why producers see the demand for it, and they're still making money off of it. What's up, Gateway Paranormal?
Hi, Valerie.
Go ahead.
Becky said it's horrible, Sandy, and I made a comment and was told they weren't investigators.
I mean, oops. I don't want to lose you, Missy. I mean, who's to say they're not people can debate whether I'm a real investigator or not. I mean, that's their prerogative. But
right, but we at least investigate. We ask questions. Well,
they ask questions on that show too.
Well, yeah, but like last week's episode, there was one scene where Dakota was sitting on the ground asking questions, and that was it. Other than that, it was just the three of them running around screaming.
I mean, people like that, or they wouldn't be making it. Trust me. I know that much about the entertainment industry to know that. And that is the reason why it's there.
Sean Gilmore just jumped on. Are you?
Hey, buddy. Thanks for joining me. Please let me know, Sean. Everybody else, I want to know what the show topic is very important to me. When you come to investing into the paranormal, I know you guys invest a lot of money in your own paranormal research and interests, but what do you do outside of that? Like, do you expect, I know you expect to find truths yourselves, but what do you think investing in organizations and other groups that you think also have a legitimate chance of finding things? Now, I know we primarily focus on EVP, and now we're doing a lot of psychical research. What do you do to invest in people who are trying to kind of pick apart certain hypotheses and testing them in the field, whether it be setups? How do you invest? Like, when you get paid, do you like take a chunk of it? I know our Patreons do. A chunk of their paychecks come right out of their check, right out of their account, and goes funding our research. So are you doing that with other groups? Let me know if you're doing that with other groups and other organizations, or you're not at all. You're just either putting it into your own research, or not. I want to know legitimately what you guys are doing. Scotty is wondering about the potential of human organ trade and the potential paranormal aspect, if any. The Chinese government has been murdering the outlawed Falun Gong group for harvest. When it comes when it comes to murdering people and the unfinished business dealing with that, I think you're alluding to the potential of human organ trade and the potential paranormal aspect, if any. Now, if you receive an organ from an organ donor, whether you inherit any type of spirit from that person, there may be a small chance that their DNA, depending on the organ. Now, blood transfusion, I think, might have the highest. Heart transplants, it's just a very interesting question. I haven't seen any research on that. I'm sure people has asked the questions and done documentaries and research on it. I just hadn't seen anything about that. I think it's very possible, Scotty. I really do. I think there could be something going on when it comes to their essence, their spirit, some aspect of their energy, coming through to you and becoming part of you. I don't see why not.
Matthew Jackson just jumped on the Justin Brown page. Adam Kimmel and Joe Anderson are on RU Media.
What's up, Adam? How many days is it to Destination Fear now? 4, 3? It's getting close, right?
Yeah, Saturday.
Okay.
We will be watching.
I'll watch it for you, Adam. I'll do it for you.
No, you'll watch it because it'll be on.
I'll actually be at Derek and Missy's house. I'm forced to watch it. We'll watch it. We'll support Madison Seminary. Why not, right? So, yeah. Any questions from Facebook? Anything popping up?
No. They're just talking amongst themselves about Destination Fear.
I'm going to blame Becky for that.
Yeah.
Well, Becky, watch the episode at Madison Seminary. Watch what they do and compare it to what the investigators what they've done, what's Resident Undead's done, what we've done, what Ghost Hunters has done. There's been so many good groups come through there and have their take at it. How they present it as a paranormal a piece of paranormal content, maybe a little peer review. I mean, I don't expect to see a lot of peer review come out of a show like Destination Fear. I mean, to be honest, but hopefully they had experience. What I would like to see is they had experiences similar to what we had and others had, because what was fascinating about Ghost Hunters was they had experiences that were similar to ours, and they actually heard a voice that said the same exact thing that we heard and recorded. They just weren't in the same spots. But I thought that was very interesting. So those are the things I look forward to see on shows is the phenomena predictable? Can you say, hey, if you go down here in this room at this time, you will experience this? That is what you want to see to start to objectify these claims. You want to predict things, and hopefully do more, like measuring them and maybe finding out the mechanics and physics behind them, which would be much more difficult. Remember, if you're on YouTube, to help me out, please put your questions in all caps. I am going to try to read them, but I can't read and fill the air at the same time. So please excuse me.
Joe Anderson's asked, so my question is, have you got any calls from Florida for new shows?
Who asked that?
Joe?
No. I haven't had anybody call me for to be on a show or to ask for any information on the show. No one's emailed me or anything.
Troy said, mostly I invest time helping several groups on investigations. I haven't done anything monetarily except with my own equipment and the investigators themselves.
Do you publish anything from your paranormal research at all? And if you do, how can they find it? Like, to use Facebook? Do you have a website? how do you present it? Like that's the kind of stuff I would like to know too.
He said, I've been getting a lot, but didn't know if anyone else is getting this.
Not me. We see you, Betty. I see you. Thanks for joining us. Nice to see you. I haven't talked to you in a while. Scotty Jen, it's not, to be honest, with business, and unfortunately she cautious in YouTube chat. Nice to see you. General 7 is here. How's the weather? That's what she was asking. So yeah, we got some people. We got some peeps finally rolling in. Yeah. We're talking about investing in paranormal research. How much do you invest in paranormal research? What and when you invest in things, do you retool your investments? Do you retool what tools you use as you go along? How do you do that? What's your investment caps? Do you think that the cap on your investment limits you on what you can do to progress it? I want to know all these things. And I know that we as a group, Interface Death, are constantly pinching pennies and pennies and pennies out of our pockets. And I'm going to assume that people do the same. Other people do the same. I see people posting things that, maybe they got a new piece of equipment. Maybe they're upgrading their camera gear to better cameras. Maybe they're upgrading their audio gear. I will make suggestions on what you should be investing in. You definitely want to invest in better video gear and better audio gear. I would not invest in a lot of gadgets, especially the high price ones out there, unless you just have an disposable income. Yes, disposable income that you can just spend money and it won't hurt you. So maybe, if you want to just research the legitimacy, I can't talk tonight, of a particular thing, that by all means do that, because I have done that. We see you there, Robert Murphy. Thanks for joining us. Let's see here. Yep, they're just talking. Betty says she's been busy. Hey, this is the time of year to be busy. I know I've been very busy.
Bradley Monks says, hello from Canadian Paranormal Expeditions.
What's up, Bradley? Thank you for joining us.
And Darren is on RU. And Robert is on
Darren Smith?
Dyke House? Oh. I think that's how you say it.
Okay. Ooh, we got Limelit Girl that just joined us. Hey, we haven't seen you guys in a while. You guys must have been busy yourselves. We must be the only live show on YouTube right now. Everybody else must be quiet. I know I'm going to start advertising another one of my mom's jewelry sales for Friday. And Yay. Another shameless plug that I will say periodically through the show, everything on the Interface Death online store is on sale right now. So if you've been eyeballing something on our online store, now's the time to get it, whatever you want. There's 20 to 25% off on everything. And there's been a couple people have already taken advantage. Go ahead.
Shane on the Justin Brown page and Bradley on RU Media asked the same question at the same time.
Uh-oh.
Is the SLS worth investing in?
My short answer is no. And this is why. When I'd done an actual show on the SLS camera, and I was very skeptical of the device, but I thought it was a cool concept. When I went to do research, I ran across Kenny Biddle's article on Skeptical Inquiry's website, and he's done the best research that I've seen on the device, and he has found that not only is using something like a sensor from a video game a bad idea, he explains why. And I'll tell you why, real quick. I'll try to be quick. But there's a lot of technical information that goes along with this. Okay, it's designed to be set stationary in a room with no objects in it, and to scan a field of view 6 to 8 feet away. Okay? Now, the software is designed to lock onto anything using depth and contrast of the depth of the sensors. So if you have yourself there and then you have the wall a couple feet behind you and maybe there's a dresser there, it could map the dresser as a player 1 or player 2. It could map a lamp or a book bag or anything. As long as the contrast parameters are there, it will try to map it. Now, if it can't find arms and legs, it will add them. The software adds them, and that's why you see the weird figures going along doing this and everything. That's the software trying to map in something without appendages, without arms and legs. So how it works, it shoots out infrared either beams of light, the little dots that you see, or the more advanced versions just shoot out light and it's a whole field of light. But it's designed to reflect off physical objects. Last time I checked, a lot of ghosts aren't physical unless there's a mist or some other type of substance there that allows us to see it. But how do you map out a mist? Explain that to me. You got to know how the device works. So my long answer is people hand hold it in the dark, move it all around. It's not designed to do that. It's going to cause all kinds of false positives. And even if you put it stationary somewhere, in my opinion, ghosts are not physical objects in which the dots can cause, the software to detect things. If that was true, you could sit there and shoot an infrared laser beam or a light out, and you can just take an infrared camera and see the light being blocked. That's why people use laser grids. They want to see something physical being blocked, so you can see maybe something invisible but still has mass. Do not invest that much money in an SLS camera if you're asking me. Scotty says, you ever watch the Ohio Living Dead Paranormal Foreman Brothers group? I love their investigations on YouTube. Yep, I only live an hour and a half away from them. And actually, they Living Dead Paranormal has actually inspired me to become a filmmaker and has inspired me to do the films that I do, along with Paranormal Quest. So I definitely know them. I have not met them in person yet, but that probably will happen eventually. They're very busy. Spirit Stalker Afterlife says, how about when it climbs up the ceiling and crawls on it? There is just a lot of things. You would have to show me the footage. If you have something recorded, you can send it to me. You can email it to justinbrown@interfacedeath.net. But a lot of it, what you're seeing is the things moving and climbing. I've seen all kinds of weird stuff. And the software, when you look at the depth and you see the red and the blue sharp contrasts, if it's seeing a lot of contrast in those areas, it will put a stick figure there. And if you're moving the camera at all, or if that contrast is changing at all, it will seem to move. And I do believe that it'll put figures in places where there is nothing moving, or the camera's not moving at all. It'll still make objects move because it's bugging out. So I want you to use critical thinking when it comes to these tools. If the infrared light can bounce off of the ghost and be mapped by the SLS camera, that means you can physically go over there and touch it. It is physically impossible for light to bounce off something, but you can't touch it. That is not physically possible. I know people would argue that the paranormal field does not adhere to physics. That's why it's paranormal. But if the paranormal does not adhere to physics, that would mean the SLS camera would not work. So that would be how I would debate that.
John Partial joined. Michelle Millens joined. Bradley said, thank you for your answer. What would you suggest for the best night vision camera? I have 9 Sony night shot cams.
Okay, it would depend on your budget. Cameras can get very expensive. I know around the $1,200 range. I think that's what the AX100 is going for, the Sony AX100. That has been a very, very good camera that I've seen. The low light is better than the AX33 and the 53s, but I would need to know your budget. what you're able to spend, and I can tell you what the best camera is. So if you don't want to put that on the chat, you can just message the page and I'll answer you after the show, or you can email me at justinbrown@interfacedeath.net. However you want to do it, buddy. And just give me your budget and I can suggest some things.
Valerie asked where to go to purchase a deadlight, and Derek told her to go directly to the Deadlight LLC on Facebook, to the Deadlight LLC page on Facebook. Sandy said your mother's jewelry is beautiful, and Derek said he's not buying this week, so she might have a chance. And I said, says you?
You're actually getting your jewelry this weekend.
I know. I can't wait.
I'll be like, I wanted to mess with you. I'll be like, oh no, I forgot your jewelry. Would you kill me?
I'd send you back to Hillsboro with a full tank of gas. I'd be like, come on, we're going to get it.
Yeah, Spirit Stalker. Empty room. If you're going to use an SLS camera, empty room, nothing in it. Sit it pointing towards a blank wall, 6 to 8 feet away from the wall.
Becky Compton said, I have night vision and it sucks balls. Only because you don't have a deadlight.
Yeah. Your any camera is made better with a deadlight. I promise you that. Or anything equivalent to it. And there's not very many lights equivalent to a deadlight. So just get a deadlight. It's a good investment. Josh is like, stop plugging deadlight.
Well, she said she would have to sell her soul for one, but she uses Dan's all the time.
Borrow a deadlight. Another suggestion.
She does. She borrows Dan's.
Yeah,
but
that's why I said that. Is there Nocturnal Research Society asks, is there a device that can detect any radiation or gas ions? Geiger counters detect radiation. They do make consumer sensors that you can plug into laptops with software. It's not cheap. Okay, you want decent to good consumer level sensors with good calibrated software. So we're talking thousands there. There are ion detectors. They're expensive, Caesar. Okay, if you really want to get into that, you're gonna be saving up, my friend. It's high, but gas. That's actually cheaper if you want to detect for, let's say, CO2 or carbon monoxide or something like that. Those detectors are cheap, and they make cheap good ones for that. Hopefully that answers your question. Scotty says, I'm experimenting with the budget technology like mini infrared spy cams to see if it has any useful data value. It could. The better sensor, the better optics and lenses you have on your camera, the better off you will be. Kasha Gems asks, what are your thoughts on using a laser grid on investigations? Have you guys ever used them? Yes, we do. We try to use them more and more. We want to rule out that things that are invisible but do have physical properties to them. And by physical properties, if you see something move and change the dots in the grid, it doesn't mean that you can walk up to it and touch it like it's something physically there. It could be something gaseous, or it could be a form of energy that will diffract the light or change and manipulate the light somehow to make it do whatever you see it doing. If it looks like the predator effect, most likely it's a physical object like a body is. It's just invisible. Or if you're seeing something like a mist or a shadow or something weird, it can have physical properties, but it doesn't mean it's something you can physically grab. Okay, there could be some other exotic physical properties of it that we would want to investigate, further. But I think there's uses for them. I would say keep trying to use it. Try to use at least a 15. What are they? What they're not watts. They're it's a different measuring than a watt. Get the most powerful laser you can. That's all I got to tell you. spend some money on $20 maybe.
Okay. Joe Anderson on RU Media said, so when I started this, it was an EVP recording device, a handheld camera, and an IR light. I have now over $3,000 in equipment and still want more. Start with an EVP recording device, a night vision camera with an IR light. And then Bradley Monks asked, how do you feel about paying to go to a location to investigate? We get a lot of that on the east coast of Canada. I have never paid to go to a place. Can't bring myself to do it.
Okay, there are some there that is debatable whether it's a good idea or not, and I think it's a good question, and I think it's very relevant to the topic. We pay to investigate places when we want to go to places to create documentaries and paranormal content that we know that our followers and viewers want to see. We pay for those locations. We try to limit those locations that we want to invest in to provide revenue for. If we see historical value or historical significance in a location, we do not mind paying them. Madison Seminary, okay? Somewhere like that. Like, you know, if you ever met Adam Kimmel and if you couldn't tell or believe his passion for saving that place, then it's not hard to understand why you would, you know, look at a place, fall in love with it, feel like it has some kind of historical or significant value to not only the community, but to the paranormal community and for history, okay, for teaching, okay? What we learn about our history is very valuable to our community and our future. So that is how I justify those investments. And it does yield, you know, paranormal research. You can get evidence from it. If you feel like you don't want to invest in it because they're just trying to use the paranormal pulp culture thing, that ghost hunting is a big hobby and a big tourist attraction, and they're just trying to take your money, that can happen. And you want to try to vet each location and research what their intentions are, what the organization's trying to do, make sure there's nothing shady or illegal going on, and decide whether you want to invest in that location. If that's not what you're in it for, then I would understand why you wouldn't want to do it. But that would be my response to that. Scotty says, I've used expensive gear, Geiger counters at work with pipe x-ray testing, but I'm hoping I can rent a trade quality Geiger counter to investigate with. That would be something I would definitely try. Paying for locations isn't my budget, to be honest, and that is completely understandable. And to be honest, I wouldn't be investigating these places if it wasn't for everybody pitching in the group. Okay. And they definitely, you know, Derek, Missy, Jess, and Josh definitely has made everything that you see possible. Okay. It is very expensive. That's why we beg you guys to help us, you know, and we understand that you can't help us as much as we like to, but that's why we ask, because if you want to keep seeing us do what we're doing, all the help we can get is needed. Nothing's for free, as you guys know. Nothing is costless. EDI pluses, they work just well enough. Their sensors are not as great as I would like. I wish the guy still made the dark matter meter that we used to have, a former member in our group used to have, but that went with her, so we no longer have the privilege of using that. Hopefully there will be more advancements in companies investing in better data loggers. I know a lot of people, well, not a lot of people. I know Paul Browning makes his own, but he's smart enough and has the resources to do that. So yeah, if you can learn electrical engineering and do your own data loggers, that would be the way to go.
Drew Nichols said hi from Paranormal Postmortem.
Hi, Drew. Thanks for joining us.
Derek is explaining to them what equipment they should use.
Thank you. That's your job.
He confused everybody, and Becky's like, what? So he's going back and explaining what he was saying. He told her to get the SJ cam. And she's
Yeah.
like, what is that?
Yeah, an SJ cam. Okay. Bring it up.
I know what it is.
I know. Okay. Let's see if we can left monitor. Okay. We'll type in SJ cam, or well, SJ6 Legends what we use, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you type that in, oops, that's not spelled right. Okay. SJ6 Legend. Let's see. Okay. This is an SJ6 Legend. The reason why,
That's a scarf.
oh, there's a delay. You'll see me type in the right thing. Okay, the reason we suggest these cameras is they're easily modded to full spectrum. If you take this face off, if you're not tech savvy, I would just have a company send off. Gotcha Ghost does these conversions, or we can do them for you. There's a couple people who can do this for you, but you just take the lens apart, flick the back of it off, back behind it here, and there's a IR filter that's glued to the back of the lens. We just remove that, put the lens back in, refocus it, and now you're going to allow infrared to enter to hit your sensor. And these are going for $135, and you could mod them. They're the most easily modded action camera. That's why we use them, and they're inexpensive. And as long as you got a good light and you know somebody that can refocus it for you and remove the filter without damaging the lens, it makes for a good night vision camera. I have to get an action cam converted full spectrum. Yep. I would get the SJ6 Legend. They're 4K, interpolated, so they're not a full 4K like you would normally see, but they're 4K interpolated, so it's going to give you a decent image. If you need help modding it, there's a video by Paraholics. JLo does a really good step-by-step on how to mod the camera that I usually share to people to show how to mod it.
Bradley said, Ovulus, yes or no?
Nope. It's just a random word generator. I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves. If you think about it critically, if a ghost can enter a device, manipulate it to say a word, why spend all that money on something when you can just get a freaking kid's toy with a dictionary words in it, like for learning? Set that down and ask it to say the words in that to speak to you. If it can use the Ovilus, it can use the kid's toy. Okay, so use a kid's toy, spend $20 on it. Yard sale, $5. That would be my suggestion to you.
Shane said, I recently bought a static detector. Do you recommend them?
No. And the reason why is static electricity and charges are everywhere. It can be generated so easily that just moving around in the environment or naturally occurring static fields in the environment can set that thing off and give so many false positives very easily. If you can control the lab like conditions required to get good data from those, by all means try it. But do you know what you would have to go through to make those conditions favorable to do the research needed? That actual science will say, hey, look at that. It's not practical. Okay, so no, I would not recommend using that at all. I mean, taking a cellophane off a pack of cigarettes is going to set it off. All right, I mean, it's just too easy to set off. Reaching the end, folks. So, I mean, I love the questions and they're all relevant to the topic. If you want to invest in things, I definitely have an opinion on what you should get and what you should don't. I'm definitely qualified for video and audio gear. That's my forte. I'm definitely have an opinion on the gadgets that's out there. Okay. I can give you an in-depth reason why you should or should not use these things. I even may have shows in the videos archives on this page or on the YouTube channel the reason why I think you shouldn't. So if you're interested, just browse through there. You may even see a whole show to answer a question if you're watching the replay.
Bradley said, I got a Boo Bear, but I got mixed feelings on it.
I wonder why. You just feel kind of ridiculous, right? I remember when I've used it, I'm just like, I feel pretty silly right now. I mean, there's definitely worse things out there. Now, trigger objects, if you think there's a child spirit or something that would enjoy a toy like that, sitting it in the room and putting a camera on it to see if something will do something, I understand how that might be something practical. I'd want to see it levitate or move or do something. That's what you'd want to see with the Boo Buddy. And just go buy a teddy bear. Don't spend the money on a Boo Buddy with a REM pod in it. You can build your own Boo Buddy very much cheaper than you can buying it from a retailer. Betty, you have a good Thanksgiving. Everyone have a good Thanksgiving.
No, they all have to come back tomorrow and watch Necromancer.
That's right. Tomorrow we're having Beth Darlington from London, United Kingdom. She is very knowledgeable about the paranormal. She has a lot to say about what the do's and don'ts are. So if you don't want to hear it from me, you can hear it from Beth Darlington from London tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern on Necromancer. YouTube, same channel. It'll be on the Necromancer live show on Facebook. Go ahead.
I thought it was at 4.
Oh, it is at 4. Thank you for correcting me. Since she lives in London, it'll be at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. Don't listen to me. Listen to Missy. I'm just a robot. I'm just a robot spitting out information here. But yes, it's at 4 p.m. The events are up on YouTube. You already see the events there. So just follow along with that. And yes, if you want to check out the sales on our online store on interfacedeath.net, please do that. The sales will end Friday at midnight, and they'll go up to the regular prices with the exception of things that we already had on sale. So if you've been eyeballing some things or have not checked out the store yet, please do so. We would appreciate that very much. We have stuff for metaphysical people. We have stuff. We have apparel from, like T-shirts, and we have Blu-ray documentaries of our investigations on there, all for sale. Please check that out. Anything else before I wrap it up, Missy?
Nope. I think that's it.
All righty. Bradley says, that's what I just, before I lock it off in a room once okay. Yeah, that's what I would do too. Makes sense, right? Thank you everybody for chiming in. That was very rewarding to hear what everybody had to say and what everybody thought versus what I thought. I mean, hey, it is what it is, right? When it comes to investing in things, sometimes we just have to throw money at stuff to see how legitimate it is. If it works, sometimes we have to eat money, just through trial and error. So that's understandable. But I think we can make informed decisions. I think if we take a step back and look at things that we do pay for, that we may need to reallocate into things that might be more justified and efficient, maybe that's a takeaway from the show. I don't know. You let me know what the takeaway from the show was and what you thought of it. But thank you for joining me. We're going to sift through these links that you'll see in the video description. Interfacedeath.net is our website. Everything you want to know about what we do is on there. All of our social media accounts and links are on the website. All of our videos, all of our research, practices, methods, gear, everything. If you're watching on YouTube, you can go over to Facebook, cheat on YouTube for a while, and check out the blog page, Justin Brown Paranormal Research and Interface Death. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Patreon. If you want to invest in our paranormal research, you can do through Patreon, get rewarded, and get exclusive access to things. We'll shout out the fellow patrons that we have right now here in a second. If you're watching on Facebook, we do broadcast this show from YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel. Subscribing to it would make us very happy. It's free and easy. All you have to do is click a button. We would love to see you over there. If you just want to make a one-time payment or donation without doing Patreon, you can do so through PayPal. at the link provided. You can join us on Discord as well. If you're on Facebook, you can join United Paranormal Society, where we talk about everything paranormal, cryptids, UFOs, everything. I would like to see anything you have to offer. We'll allow you to share your paranormal work there. Just read the rules, see if you want to join. I'd like to see you over there. Our Patreon supporters are very important. They are what makes this show possible. They give this content to you for free. So let's extend our thanks rather to Clay Borman, Katie Turner, RJ Murphy, Scotty Fox, Casey Schreiner, Jessica Bias, Paranormal Reporter, Anthony Grothus, Heather Elliott, Joe Vitale, The Ghost Guild, Kelly McConkey, Tony Felosi, Betty Cagley, Cherry Capital Shadow Seekers, and Deadlight LLC. Without their support, this content would not be what it is. They make it possible. Thank you very much. And that is where I'm going to leave it. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Hope to see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, where we talk paranormal with Beth Darrington. Very, very cool. Looking forward to it. Stick around. We have some stuff from RU Media that we promote on the show. We have a brand new documentary, the final episode of season 6 coming out this month. The trailer to that will be in the promos. Everything else, stick around if you have not seen it. If you're tired of seeing it, we'll see you next time. We love you. You have a good night. Do you have that drive? That morbid curiosity to explore the darkness? Do you have what it takes to brave the night? You do? Good.
Deadlight. For those who aren't afraid to see what lurks in the night.
Lost your audio from your lavalier. Did the power go off?
Well, I felt like I got pinched. But it wasn't like a
Did the
pinch.
display turn off?
This just died.
You gotta be kidding me.
It just died.
Okay, that's brand new lithium ion batteries. We'll keep rolling. Dude, there's...
Yeah, but at least that one's definitely documented it. That's still rolling. That camera.
Oh, yeah, this is rolling too.
Yeah, these just freaking died.
Let me double check.
I held it in, the light came on to the title screen. And
Dude, I'm starting to feel really, like, weird sensations touching me, dude. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it felt like something.
Yeah.
Like just.
dead as a doornail.
And those are brand new.
Welcome to Ground Zero. This is the talk of the talk. You know, everybody is captivated by this area. This is what I call the asylum. When I first purchased the place, it wasn't hard to know that this has been whitewashed. Everybody has their sort of the boogeyman. When you're young and growing up, be good, the boogeyman's gonna get you. Well, you wanna know what the boogeyman in Madison is? It's this place. You grew up here and you acted up in front of your parents, you get sent here. Now that sends a red flag. If this was a nice facility and everyone was being taken care of, why are you gonna send them here? Something was happening behind these walls.
This is Jason Bland, host of Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we stream live as a webcast every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, with guests who will blow your mind. Live ghost box sessions where you can call into the show to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the world wide web of weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.
On Saturday, November 30th, take your journey into the supernatural into one of Ohio's most wicked jails. Built in 1889, the old Licking County Jail was home to its fair share of dangerous inmates, leading to 14 inmate deaths as well as 4 sheriffs. These violent deaths inevitably led to the closure of the jail in 1987. Join us for a night of history and an overnight ghost hunt you'll never forget. Your journey awaits.
Hi, I'm Eric McGill.
And I'm David Woolever.
And we are paranormal investigators welcoming you to join us as we put new theories to the test and attempt to explain strange phenomena. We invite you on a journey that will give you a glimpse into our haunted minds. Hi guys, Eric McGill here, RU Media Network and Our Haunted Minds. I just want to talk to you guys real quick about the awesome stuff going on behind the scenes. The Our Haunted Minds video is coming along swimmingly and it's really going to be awesome. As you guys know, Adam Kimmel is joining us for the first investigation with Dave and I. And then after that, we may have Chris, or we may have Becca, or we may have Ashley, but it's really exciting and you guys are not going to want to miss this first one. A lot of awesome stuff happened.
Hello, everyone. I'm the Goose.
And I'm Michael Bradley.
Is that what you're calling yourself tonight?
Heisenberg.
Not the Angry Kitty.
Max Braggins.
Anywho, we're the hosts of the Cryptic Paranormal Show.
On our show, we'll talk about all things paranormal except Bigfoot. He freaks me out.
Really, dude?
You know that, but I mean, I guess we could talk about him as long as I don't have to see him.
We will talk. As a matter of fact, we'll talk about all fields in the paranormal realm.
And every week, we will interview new guests, celebrities, and researchers in the field, and all our comrades in the paranormal underground.
And we aren't afraid to ask the hard questions no one else will. Our conversations are rooted in our own experiences as paranormal investigators.
So be prepared to have your minds, your opinions, and your beliefs challenged.
And let's not forget to warn them about all the tomfoolery and shenanigans. Let's just say, you might want to put the kiddos to bed before tuning in. They don't call us the paranormal shock jocks for nothing.
Do they call us that?
If they don't, they will.
So be sure to tune into the Cryptic Paranormal Show every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on RU Media Network.
Spook you later, crypto heads.
Bye.
Shut up.
Welcome into the Abyss with your host, Sean Gilmore. Open your mind, both of your ears, and all three of your eyes to discuss all things supernatural with weekly special guests. We believe that we all learn from each other and we all have a lot to learn. What will you learn today? Here is your host, Sean Gilmore.